Yo, what is up, everybody? We are back with another episode of the Dodcast. This is the 4th episode of the season. Technically, it is for week 3. As you can see, I've got a haircut. It's not bad. I like it. We're recapping week 3 on Thunder 2B4. I will not be wearing my headset around my neck this time. So that way it won't be making a bunch of fucked up sounds in everybody's ears the whole time they're trying to listen. So, we're recapping Thunder 2. We will be doing predictions for Lennon for the following week. Going over the usual good stuff. Oh, now I can see what the notifications were from the stream. Ken F88 followed and Saber followed, which was awesome to see. Yeah, let's just get right into it. I'm doing this a little bit later than I had planned or hoped for, but I really want to get it done now. I was thinking about doing another Dodcast. Doing it tomorrow, but then it's Friday. I know people would rather this. I don't know, maybe I'll start doing this thing on Friday, so it's like Friday, the weekend right before the next matches. I used to do it on Wednesday. Today's Thursday. You know, if people would rather this be on a Wednesday, let me know. If you'd rather it be on Friday, let me know. Or Saturday, for that matter. If you want it to be right before the matches start to get played for the following week. I'm down with whatever. So, you guys let me know which you'd prefer. Let us get started right off the bat. So, I didn't get to cast that many games this week, which is unfortunate, because usually that's where any analysis I have is coming in as to what went right, wrong, who did what. In this week's case, it's just going to be outside of, what did I do? 3H versus Saab, and Over versus Chill Pill, NSA versus Clinic, and obviously our match. So I guess half the matches I have some reasonable insight on. We'll start with the NOA versus No-Go matchup right away. As you can see, NOA loses to No-Go 508 to 45. Still better than the first week, obviously. Okay, so it looks like Twist rang for them. You know, it's a good ringer to be able to get. Is Twist? I think Twist might be. I don't remember for sure who it was who's friends with NOA that had brought them over to DoD from the other game they played. I want to say it was Twist, but I could be wrong. But looking at these screenshots here, you know, Twist with 34 on Axis. Eclipse with 20. I think I saw Eclipse had a really good other half as well. Mao's 15, Meep 15, iJab 11, Blue Cactor 14, 36 on J-Rod, 30 on Apple, 37 on Matthew, 23 on Miller, which if you remember, Ninja Miller, Pandemic Miller, Complexity Miller, that's him playing his code. And Koi looks like he got in this week, which is pretty sweet to see too. 23 and 13. Dedro 17 and 16. And then in the other half, not sure which was first, which was second. Twist with 28. Eclipse with 30. So, I mean, I don't know the exact circumstances of this game, but if they've got a guy who's able to get 30 kills against No-Go, that bodes well. You know, like this is like Riley Staffer initially on CIS. Riley Staffer was putting up numbers against like everybody at first, and not many other people on the team were, and then slowly but surely, well, he continued to frag, and then you started to see everybody else catch up. But Meep with 16, Blue with 16, Mao's with 15, iJab with 10. I know I have heard that Meep is pretty good as well, so maybe once he gets more used to the game, like if there's any potential there whatsoever, that's you know, the important thing. That way, as they learn and cultivate that potential, just getting the fundamentals of the game down, that will bode better and better for their potential results going through this season and the next. On No-Go's side, again, Dedro with 24, J-Rod 34, Koi with 16, Apple 24, Matthew 44, and Miller with 27. Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm just continuously going to be interested to see how things go with NOA moving forward, how they keep progressing. Seeing Eclipse with 30 kills is pretty sweet under any circumstances. So that alone is something to build off of. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how they continue to progress going forward. For the time being, I haven't even got to lay eyes on them playing myself. So I don't even know what it looks like when they're playing. Like, do they, like, if they look like their aim is good and everything, I'm sure they do. They play another game that I believe is a first-person shooter. Otherwise, why would they be playing this random game? But yeah, so that's just kind of a story to keep an eye on throughout the season here, to watch NOA's results just keep getting better and better. In the meantime, it's just cool to see him try it, honestly. It's people keep saying a 20-year-old game, but in reality, it's about 22 years old at this point, maybe even a little more than that. I think it's been 20 years since the retail version of the game came out. So this is a really fucking old game. For anybody to be trying to play it and get better at it and learn it at this stage is cool to me, for what that's worth. So 508 to 45, no go over NOA. I don't know if I had any announcements that I was supposed to make. Since I'm not affiliated with the league anymore, nobody really keeps me up to date on if I'm supposed to be like, hey, for this week, this map is this, so don't do that, and fuck this, and whatever. So, like, if that's something that the league wants me to do, they're going to have to let me know. In the meantime, I don't got announcements to make in that regard. Let's move on to the next game. Which one do I want to do? I didn't get to see either of these games, which was disappointing. I was kind of hoping I'd get to cast at least one of them. We can do Insomnia versus Washed Up first. It looks like Insomnia got the win, 138 to 74. I'm not sure if that was a cap out involved in there or not. Let's see, 71 on Axis, 67. I mean, ooh, that's tough to say. There might have been a cap out here. I'm not sure. Wow, look at Pip scores. But yeah, let's just look at the scores here. Didn't get to watch this game. On the washed up side, PB, of course. I mean, PB is always putting up numbers. No matter what division he's in, no matter what map it is. In particular, this map, he has had a history with, like, dropping bombs. I've certainly casted multiple games where he's had 70 to 80 kills or more. And right away, looking like he got 33 on allies. I did get to see a couple of his clips from this match as well, and they were nasty. I really, really enjoyed the one Garand clip he had. It was a very, very slick-looking clip. But 33 for him, 20 for War, 20 for Bullet, 19 for Hopper, 17 for Casino, 15 for the Brom Bomb, who I've also seen a clip of playing CS in a 1 versus 4 or 5 clutch with the up. That was pretty ridiculous. That'll have to play on a stream sometime. And then on the Insomnia side, Pibian. The big story, sniping in Silver this season, the guy who people didn't really know what to expect from, but if you played in, like, 2007, 6 to, like, 2010, you knew what to expect from him. 33 and 17 Axis side. Hypnotic with the car, 29. Sean with the car, 29. 17 on 9. 15 on Corey. 13 on Riv. And then moving over to the other half, looks like this was the second half. For Washed Up, Casino, 26 on the rifle. Brom Bomb with 28. War Within with 20. And there it is, PB, 70 kills, of course, like clockwork. 37 on the car. Bullet with 19. Hopper with 14. And then on the Insomnia side, 37 on Sean. Of course, his Garand halves are, like, always good. His Garand is ridiculous. More often than not, he's going to have 30-plus kills with a car, too. But his Garand is really exceptional. 30 on Riv, of course. The bar is God for heavies. When all is said and done, like, sometimes you have good Axis halves. It's more about what you do on allies. If you put up those numbers with the bar when you're, like, that main aggressor heavy, you're feeling okay about it. Always. Doesn't matter what happened on Axis. 9 with 20. Corey with 20. Hip with 21. Yeah, just all-around good effort here. The kills looked like they were pretty close overall, I don't think there was a cap out here based on the scores. I think it might have been, like, just a hold mid for most of the game. I'm not sure on that, though. Although you look at this one, it's 103 to 69, so, like, maybe there was a cap on one of these two halves to get that extra 35 points out of it. Just looking at some of the other ones, like, I don't know that there was a cap there. There wasn't a cap there. I don't know about that. There was a cap there, and there was a cap there, and almost a second one. So I'm inclined to think that maybe Washed Up did get one cap, or maybe even, like, hold on to one of the second or first flags for a little bit. But regardless, did I say Washed Up? I meant Insomnia. Yeah. So yeah. Let me just see what the individual flags are. That might help tell the story. No, they're pretty pretty similar, too. I don't know. Insomnia, though, continuing the run, undefeated thus far. You got to figure they remain the favorites here in silver. As of right now, it will be interesting when Insomnia plays 3H. I'm not sure when that's... Obviously, it's in the next 2 weeks. And then you get potentially a rematch in those final 2 weeks, I think, unless they're not doing that in silver. But in gold, at least, there's seeded matchups for the last 2 weeks. I think in silver, because there's more teams, that doesn't happen. So forget everything I just said. I have no idea when they play each other. But Insomnia, 138-74, over Washed Up. Yeah, just very interesting. I'm not worried about Washed Up. Like, they're going to be fine. They're going to be a team that's going to be able to beat anybody in the playoffs, too. I think they'll have a nice map pool. Thunder, like, do you really want to play that come playoff time? I don't know. For anybody's sake. Like, there might be teams that do, but I think overall this is not really a playoff map. You don't see teams leave it, even as an option in most cases. So this is one of those weeks where it's kind of like use it to tune up. Tune up your aim, tune up your communication, and don't fret too hard on what happens. I mean, this does sound like some copium when you see the results for me later, though. Yes, yes, yes. But moving on. So this is the other game I didn't get to cast in silver, which was unfortunate. I was curious to see how this game went. Spicy Butthole get the W, 103-69 over Shut Up We're Trying. I think I predicted this one to be like under 10 points. Ended up being 34, which is within a cap. Fucking close enough at that point, right? Let me see how things went here. That was the first half. Nice. Okay, so 53-31 for Spicy Butthole on their Axis side. Die Life with the top frag, continuing his reign of terror week in and week out. He's been like the top fragger or one of the top fraggers. He's probably got some kind of a streak going on here. I should look at the stats going back to the last couple seasons and see. But 30 for him, 25 for Dillard. Dillard making his return back. The dynamic duo rifling here. The dynamic D duo, Die Life and Dillard. Stealth with 20. Twist with 23. Really got half on the STG there. Stamp with 18. Laura with 13. I don't know how anybody gets more than like 15 kills going bunker, honestly. Like, I'm not even shitting you. I don't. It's hard enough for me to get that many kills in mid at times. But that bunker route, I don't know how you guys do it. As a heavy, I used to do it on Donner, and it was a little different. But like, it's so hard. Those like 2v2 bottleneck kind of routes where there's these two huge choke points and then a bunch of open ground. Hats off to heavies everywhere, because every time I watch a Thunder match, I'm like, thank God I'm not heavying. That route looks so tough to play and navigate and get any sort of rhythm on. And for Shut Up We're Trying, let's see, Trance with 13, Crod making his debut, which is a good pickup there for Shut Up We're Trying on the heavy, 24 for him on the bar, 27 for Illusion, again, leading the way. Aim Tech with 22, 22 and 18, a good allied side sniper, 21 and 22 for Nicholson, and 20 and 19 for Stark, so good performances by the bars on Shut Up We're Trying there. And then second half, 50-38, a 12-point win. Looks like it was probably a little back and forth on mid for that half. It certainly didn't look like either team just got mid and held it the whole time. The kills were very close in this game, too. 2-kill victory there, 1-kill victory there. The Axis team won both times. It ended up being 1 kill total between the two teams. But for Spicy Butthole, 29 on Dillard. Looking so good. Look at Twist. I think Twist might have... Did Twist top frag here? 23 and 32, Die Life, Dillard. I do believe so. Yeah. Dillard with 54, Twist with 55. So really, really good week for Twist there on the heavy. 24 for Stealth, 19 on Die Life, 15 on Stamp, 13 on Laura. And then on the Shut Up We're Trying side, Aim Tech with 35, Snipe and Axis side. Really, really big half there. 22 on Nicholson, 19 on Illusion, 20 on Trance, 19 on Stark, 18 on Crod. Really, really close game by the look of it. Definitely don't see any cap-outs having come in this game in particular. Those scores, I think, are just too low for there to have been a cap, but looks like it was back and forth in mid, certainly for a portion of this game, which is very stressful when you're playing in a game like that, and very hard to keep up with when you're casting it. So I would have liked to cast that one. Unfortunately, we were scrimming right up until our match, and we were running late to start the scrim, so I couldn't even like slink out. We did 2, it was supposed to be 2, and we only got 1.5 in, so that was why I didn't end up getting to do any of those games, which is unfortunate, but big win for Spicy Butthole. Shut Up, We're Trying. I want to see them keep playing with this lineup. I think that they will be a dark horse team later on. They have a lot of skill on that team. And the addition of Kraut, I think, is a really, really nice one to throw in on the heavy. Can be a bit of like a curveball. His play style can really throw you off. Like, I know when we played PMC on Harrington at one point, he went mid and got like 37 kills with the bar, barring, a non-conventional bar route. So I think that will pay dividends for them going forward. I really like the look of that lineup, and I think on the right maps, they will be able to beat anybody potentially in a best of 3. So that'll be a good team to watch going forward. And then the last silver game, this was the other one that I casted in silver. 3H versus Saab. Again, Saab in one of these razor-thin final scores here. It was 16 points. 122 to 106. 3H gets the W. This game was bonkers crazy. Again, Saab is always playing really, really exciting games for me to cast, it turns out. It was quite fun to watch, quite fun to cast. Let's take a look here. So first half, 66 to 66. It ended up straight up tied. For Saab, you had 24 on Scotty, 24 on Nightmare, 23 on Manor, 22 on JN, 25 on Toki, really good half, 25 and 15, and 16 on King Yo. And then on the 3H side, Big Bird got in this week, 27 on Austin, 23 on Piff. I believe Piff ended up the MVP here. It was either Piff or it was CK. It was very close, I remember, though. The Bear getting in this week, 16, 13 on Big Bird, 18 on CK. Again, a tie half, which is, again, so stressful. Going into the second half, whatever side it is that you think is the better half, if you're not going into that one there, you're like, oh, fuck, it's tied. If they get mid, we're fucked. But in the end, 3H was able to, I do believe, and I'm not, no, this is definitely what happened. CK got a ninja cap at some point. I don't remember if it was Allies or Axis, but I definitely caught like the entirety of CK working a ninja cap. I believe it was on Allies, which is why it ended up tied. Saab had mid for the majority of the half. They were really threatening to cap out at certain points, and then CK pulled a ninja cap right out of his butt. That was how he ended up with the MVP. And then this half, they were able to get and hold mid for as much of the time as they could. On Saab's side of things, Nightmare with 23, Manor with 20, King Yo with 20, Scotty with 19, 17 on Toki, 16 on Yanni, and then for 3H, 33 on CK, 31 on Piff, had a lot of kills, scavenging different weapons and getting out into the spawn house. 22 on the Bear, did a really good job of hanging on to mid for 3H. That was the big key of this match in the end after CK even things up with that ninja cap. They really needed to get and hold mid, and it got to the point where Saab had to just try to flood mid to get it back. They couldn't just sit back and wait for them to come to them and all die. And yeah, 3H was able to hold off that wave of attack. 21 kills on Modgers, 21 kills on Austin, 11 kills on Big Bird. All in all, 3H was able to pull this out by 16. That CK Ninja Cap was the difference in the end. Obviously, if you remove that, they lose by 24 points. So, CK having a good season so far. Clearly, I don't remember if he actually top fragged here. 31 for Piff and 23. So he was 54 and CK was 51. So yeah, Piff actually top fragged. And Piff had a lot of really key frags as well along the way. CK with that ninja cap was just the big obvious difference on the scoreboard. So that was why he ended up getting that completely, meaningless MVP from the caster in the game. For whatever that's worth. But yeah, 16 points. Again, for Saab, it's you can't hang your head about this. This season so far reminds me so much of Icy Hot in Season 2. Where I was just it felt every game they were in position to win at certain points, and then some fucked up shit would happen, and it would end up a really tight game, and it would come right down to the wire, and they would be within inches, and then by about halfway to the three-quarter mark of the season, those games started going in their favor and then getting, more and more in their favor as time went on. So I really like that team. I think Saab is another team that, depending on the maps, is capable of beating any. They've shown they're capable of beating anybody already so far, so that's no surprise. And I think Silver is very much wide open. There are a lot of teams that I think will be able to beat one another on certain maps, and I think there are a lot of teams beyond just like the top 2 or 3 that are also capable of beating those top 2 and 3. So it's going to come down to the wire. I have no idea, what you want to call the favorites, 3H and Insomnia, but beyond that, like, there are a lot of scary teams lurking in Silver waiting for their opportunity to take their shots. So that does it for the Silver recap. On to Gold. I'll just start off with our match. Icy Hot 118 over Thunder with 79. It was a really, really well-executed game by Icy Hot. They were dominant. It was absolutely felt impossible for us to break out. Looking at the scores, the Jaginator with 13, Warm Milk with 12, Ryan Emo with 13, Dorito with 17, Tox with 23, Jules with 20. I think Tox was like the only one of us who ever had more than 1 kill in a row on Axe's side. I think there was one point where he like pushed up and got like 6 or 7 kills, and we still couldn't get mid behind him because they just had people like lurking ready to break mid. We never had enough map control to actually go for it. And then on the Icy Hot side, Sick with 14, Tony with 14, 24 on Bees, 25 on Hildebrand, 26 on Vertex, and 29 on Justin. I think that he top fragged overall, I'm pretty sure. So what was the score of that first half? We were down by 42, so it was like we need to cap. Basically, the whole thought process was we need to cap out. We did not have a good start off of our allied initial. Well, actually, I think we had a good start, and then we had like a miscommunication where we didn't get on mid. And so then by the time a second guy did get on mid, it was broken. So then they got mid. They had a triple sniper set up within like 2 minutes, I think, of this Axis side, where they literally had 3 snipers in the Axis loft. Maybe one of them had a car or something. I don't know, but there was 3 guys in the loft when neither team had mid yet. So it was pretty much impossible for us to even attempt to get on mid once that was the case. And they just executed flawlessly. Again, for us, 13 on Warm Milk, 16 on me, 17 on Jules, 22 on Tox. Nice half for Brian there. Dorito, 28. I'm not sure what Ryan ended up with. He was gone before the screenshots. And then on the Icy Hot side of things, 19 on Hildy, 18 on Bees, 17 on Sick, 22 on Tony, 27 on Vertex, and 22... Oh, so Vertex would have top fragged overall then, yeah. And he got the MVP in the cast that Jane did. I should have remembered that. 22 on Justin, though. Regardless, Justin, I know, had a bunch of, 3 kills, 2 Ks breaking mid and stuff. He did a really good job defending the mid cap. Icy Hot just with, again, a flawlessly executed game here on Thunder. Whatever their game plan was, they executed it to a T, and they just completely choked us out in the end, straight up. Very simple way to put it. Ends up being a 39-point victory for Icy out there, and a big victory to get heading into the week of Lennon. Right now, they have the 2 seed locked down. They have the tiebreaker on us, even if it comes to that. So it's looking like NSA and Icy out as those top 2 seeds by season's end, barring crazy things from happening. But as expected heading into this season, it felt like this was Icy Hot season to jump up another level, and they're showing that so far, which is again cool to see. It's cool to see other teams start being the big squad. It can get boring for everybody when it's the same couple of teams every season, always at the top. This is good for DoD. Again, copium, but it is what it is. I picked them to potentially win gold, and beating Thunder is a really good step towards that, obviously. So, moving on to what else? What didn't I cast here? Oh, actually, did I cast all the other gold matches? There's only 6 teams, so I must have, yeah. All right. So I definitely did over versus Chill Pill, over 151 to 97 for Chill Pill. This was another pretty fun game to cast, too. So in the first half, over on Allies, they ended up capping out just by brute force. No ninja cap necessary here. they just straight up flew through the second and first flag. Caffrey had a 4K car clip that was just really fucking good looking. That was a sick clip. And yeah, they just capped out, and that was kind of what ends up being the difference in the end. They lost by 54, but that cap is kind of the backbreaker when all is said and done. Taking a look at the scores, so for Chill Pill, Brandon 24. I mean, it doesn't matter what class and what map, Brandon's always performing. Same with Team Owner, 20 and 17. DB got to snipe this week, which is his natural class, and he looked so good. I don't know what the two scores combined are going to end up being, but 23 and 16 on Axis, and he had a lot of really nice shots. Just as a sniper, it was the kind of half that I appreciated because he was having to hit some really difficult multi-angle shots and was hitting them more often than not. Chi with 19 and 18 there on Axis. Baron 18 and 25, and Gall 19 for over. Sokka was the big gun here, 32 kills on him. Once he got going, he started, I don't think I'm misremembering this. I'm pretty sure it was this half where he started off, I think, like 0 and 5 or 1 and 5, 1 and 6, and ends up 32 and 22. It got to the point where, like, he was just running around through mid and back alley and slab, just killing 2, 3, 4 guys at a time. Especially when he got to tree and pushed just past mid, he was an absolute demon for over. Him and 50 were like I think the real key performers for them there. Till at 23 and 21, 18 on Caffrey, 16 on Mata, 17 on 50. Kum with 15. They won that half by, what was it, basically a 2-to-1 ratio there. Yeah, 46 to 92. And then on their Axis half, 50 with 33. That was what I was referring to. 50 went off on Axis side. It did not take him long to warm back up into DOD. But for Chill Pill, Chi with 29, another really, really good allied half for him. He's been doing that consistently. DB with another good half there, 28 on allies. 26 on Timo, 17 on Andrew, 15 on Baron. Wait a second, it was 17 on Booten, 26 on Timo. I don't know if I might have just reversed that. The scoreboard kind of blends in with this house there, so it was, I don't know, my eyes were fucked up. But on the over side of things, as I said, 50 with 33, just, I mean, so many 3 or more kill runs for him, just running around. At one point, I believe he got, like, it was like Stas, Garan, Car, maybe even one more kill in there somewhere. He's just going off, played out of his mind, which is a scary prospect. If Over is going to have 50 potentially playing more often and playing like that, you know, that's another thing to bump that roster up, and they're already looking as good as ever right now. Mata with 27, Sokka with 25, 23 apiece for Till and Kum, and 22 on Caffrey. You know, just overlook good. I said it before the season. If they're going to have Caffrey playing with any regularity, I think he's the glue to that team. They have so much talent throughout, like 8 players or 9 players at this point. They have Riley Staffer on the roster now, too, which could be another really interesting guy to be able to slot in there at any time. And yeah, we'll see what happens with them going forward. I'm not sure who they play in the next couple weeks. We still have to play them on Harrington. I don't know when that's going to be. We've been trying to get that scheduled during the day sometime and for the next week here. Yeah, so we'll see when that goes down. 151 to 97 for over Chill Pill. And then the last game of the week was NSA versus Clinic, which I did get to cast. This was another pretty fun one to watch. Like, Clinic did not go down without swinging for the fucking bleachers in this game. Lots of very, very fun, like, kill streaks and ridiculous shots for them. On the first half here, though, you had Candy with 22, 23 on Suave. Suave had a lot of multi-kills, both halves, but he had one in particular on Allies that was nuts. 20 on Vic, 20 on Carp, 20 on Tom, 14 on Insom, and on the other side, Leo and PDX, of course. Leo with a ninja cap, and almost the second one on Allies. He had 30 and 18, multiple movie clips. PDX, 34 kills. He really, like, blew the game open. Clinic had an amazing initial, like, near flawless initial to start off this match, and I don't remember what exactly happened. I think PDX was the first death, and he had died far enough behind everybody else that he was on respawn when the 6th member of the team did die. So Clinic hop on mid, but PDX was already basically up to barrel with that nade prime to break mid, breaks it right at the last second, holds off the last wave long enough for the team to get back and nade and kill the rest of them. NSA gets mid, and that's where, they held on to it for the majority of the half. Leo and PDX just with amazing performances. Nick Patton back. He has been freed, 22 and 19 with, especially on Allies, a lot of crazy shit. Evan, P12, got back to play this week too, which was fun to get to see. He did not look like he hadn't been playing DoD, regardless of kill. Like, he was kind of like the anchor guy on Bunker, and did that job aplenty. And Debo, 20 and 18 on the Stas. Being able to put Debo on a Stas is a nice thing to be able to do. Taylor with 22 on the STG. His allied side was ridiculous, though, which we will get to now. So here, this half, again, Clinic was kind of back against the wall because of that ninja cap, but they did not just, like, roll over at all. Tom, at one point, single-handedly had to hold off the allied 2 while NSA had mid and the Axis first and second for, like, probably 20-25 seconds. And he did just long enough for Clinic to get back those flags and not have the game be completely out of reach yet. He was 26 and 17. Carp, 27 and 19. Carp is always just rock solid, Like, what you're going to get from Carp always. He's always going to play well. He really reminds me a lot of Nick in how consistent he is, how good he is, and his play style as well. 23 on Suave. Again, so many multi-kills. Candyman had a few ridiculous multi-kills here with 15. 21 on Vic and 15 on Insom. And then for NSA, 34 on Taylor. He took a little bit to get into it, but once he did, man, it was like every life he was getting 4 or more kills. I thought 2 different occasions that he was going to ace. At one point, he had, I think it was like a sniper kill, 2 pistol kills, another sniper kill, and another sniper kill, something along those lines. And then another time he pushed out a bunker, got a double nade, and a bar kill, a car kill, and like just missed the next car kill, and then got blown up by one of those crazy nades that goes flying up a hill. But he looked insane on his allied half especially. Leia with 26, PDX with 19, 23 on Debo, 13 on P12, and then Nick Patton, Slick Nick, Hat Trick Nick, whatever you want to call him. Man, when he was in mid-house at one point, he was just like flying all over the place, hitting flick shots like it was nothing. Had multiple movie clips just in different places in mid, but especially in mid-house. He looked really, really good. Did not miss a step from that week off, clearly. And yeah, just NSA clicking on all cylinders. This is a very scary team, no matter who you're putting into that 6th spot. And they've got someone else. They've got someone else in that 6th spot potentially now, too. So they just got scarier. They just got scarier. Good news for everybody. Surely. So we will get to that in the prediction section. But that is the last gold match to recap. 189-62 for NSA over Clinic. Clinic, they look good. It was just NSA, once they get going, man, they're all such good players. And they're not the kind of players that are going to make really glaring mistakes that give you an opening back into a game. Their mistakes are the kind of mistakes that can be recovered by a teammate, and those teammates are always there on that team. They're very, very good at playing together as a unit. And yeah, it's gonna be tough for anybody to beat that on any map this season, and even tougher now. We'll see how this lineup plays out from here, but yeah, we'll get into that next. So, gotta swap the window to this guy. There we go. All right. On to the predictions for Lennon Test. We are on a Lennon Test now. This will definitely be a fun week to play and cast. Spicy Butthole, I know that they're going to hate the fact that they get a bye on Lennon. They all like to play Lennon as far as I know. And I'd say it's the best map for a couple of them, or one of the best maps at least. I know Stamp really excels on Lennon. Twist is really good on Lennon. Stealth has always been one of the best snipers on Lennon, which is a map that's not particularly thought of as a sniper map. Yeah, so, and of course, Die Life and Dillard are always performing anyways. Doesn't matter the map. Let me see. What do we got for matchups this week? There's a lot of good ones here. Shut Up, We're Trying versus 3H. Insomniac versus Romario. No Go versus Washed Up. Damn, I don't. What should the match of the week be in this case? Like, I don't know. I don't know what I'd pick out of those three. Those are all pretty important matchups. Shut Up, We're Trying could very well play spoiler on 3H here. On Lennon, of course, it is a good map for 3H, I'm sure. Romario getting a shot at the Kings here on Ints. They could play spoiler there as well. And then No Go versus Washed Up. That's going to be a tough game right there. I don't know who wins that game. You never know what No Go's lineup will look like. So if they're going to reconfigure things a little bit, depending on who's available and stuff. But I'll just do it in fucking order of what we got here. So Shut Up, We're Trying versus 3H. Let's just look at the lineups. I'm not sure if 3H is going to be missing anyone this week, but they have a really good set of backups to be able to throw in there. Hypothetically, you got Modgers, you got CK, you got Austin, you got Defrag, you got Piff, and you got Warchild. Anyone who's missing could be filled in by any of these players adequately. And then for Shut Up, We're Trying, I'm assuming that it'll be the lineup they played with on Thunder of Nicholson on the third, Trance and Illusion on the rifles, Stark and Crawd on the heavies, and Max on the sniper. Certainly for Lennon, when you have a team where one of your best players is the sniper, Lennon is not a map where like you get to take advantage of that so much anymore. On the Lennon test version, there's not really the areas that a sniper can push it and really go off. It's actually more beneficial on allies now to probably push through well the underpass, because those long steps in L-Hall are just like a nade pit now at this point. You usually can't get more than like 2 kills from that spot as a sniper. Man, I don't know. So this is going to be really interesting because you got CK loves this map. CK always gets a shit ton of kills on this map. The nades. It's the nades. Of course, for CK, it's the nades. Certainly, I casted a game in the last couple seasons where he had like 89 kills overall or something on Lennon. Just an insane total. You know, you figure on long, CK could play this map drunk. He could. And I think he actually did. I'm not kidding. Yeah, I think he actually did play drunk and get 89 kills on Lennon. So, never good news to run into CK on Lennon. And then you got to deal with Modgers and Piff in apartments on a very nice heavy map. Crawd and Stark, though, like, they're no slouches. And certainly they could easily find a way to lock down apartments. And that's really the biggest part of this map is apartments. You need apartments control. The heavies are key on this map. You can have good performances on both flanks and have your apartment team get dominated and lose that way very easily because apartments is just flowing straight through the middle of the map. You know, you can easily run by that flag. You can easily make your way to double windows quickly or to big window quickly and just play across both double caps from apartments if you have control of it. So that's going to be the key. I don't know what the plan is going to be for either team on if they're going to do a more classical strategy of just the cars go well against the Garands, the bars and the STGs and apartments, the third rifle and the sniper long. If one team might try to send a car apartments to even things up against those bars. The thing is, in apartments too, like this is one of those maps where you can see the STGs end up winning the apartments battle. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is that makes it so different from like Railroad 2 apartments where the bars are always winning against the STGs. I have seen a lot of halves where the STGs have themselves a really good game at apartments and can just outduel the bars left and right. So, you know, that's a place where things could fall apart. I think a big key for Shut Up, We're Trying is just going to be the Crawd and Stark duo. And then whoever it is that's kind of playing supporting role to them, whether it's the sniper kind of helping to back them up if they die, or one of the rifles kind of swinging over through apartments, a car, a Garand, whatever. You know, they need to really be able to hold on to apartments here. Nicholson knows this. We've seen him on this cast play Lennon a bunch of times, get a triple kill with a car one time. Illusion is smart tactically in this game. Aim Tech understands the game really well. Crawd understands the game. Like, this is no secret. They're not going to be like, oh my god, that's what a crazy idea. Like, I'm sure they're discussing these things. But The thing is with 3H, it's just so many good players, and CK in particular on this map especially. CK on this map is such a pain in the ass to play. We had to do it multiple times, I believe, in Season 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, one of the two. It's a huge pain in the ass. I think that's where 3H is going to end up coming out on top here. I do think they'll win. I think they'll win by, like, say, like, 87. I think Shut Up We're Trying will be able to have some violent swings in their direction as well and get a couple cap-outs in, but I think Modgers and Piff will be able to find a way to mostly hold on to apartments, and that, the rifles, CK especially, CK is just, he loves this map. He loves this map. He loves this map, and he doesn't need to be even remotely sober to perform on it, so you got to go with 3H in this case, but Shut Up We're Trying are playing like they have something to prove at all times, and you never know with a team that has that chip on their shoulder that really, really fucking wants to win. And this is a team that really wants to win. So if 3H just kind of like let off the gas at all, or, think like, well, we like Lennon, so we'll be fine, that's where a problem could come in. If everything goes according to plan, you got to figure 3H takes this just by the way that their individual skills play out on each given route. CK on well, along with a Johnny or a Bear, whoever it may be that ends up there. And then you got Austin on long with Defrag. That's a really nice long team, and Austin's always been good at this map. Going up against AimTech and Nicholson, that'll be a good battle. The thing is, long is just such a clusterfuck of a route. That flag goes back and forth so many times. It's such a quick cap. It's less important getting long and controlling it than it is what you do after that point and finding a way to go make a difference in other areas on the map, because you can lose that flag. You can turn around for 2 seconds and lose that flag. Like, you can have control of their side of long and be like, I'm going to just peek back cave, and then all of a sudden they have long behind you, and there's literally nothing you can do about it, because once it's 2 out of 2, that's it, unless you already have an aid 3-second primed. So, but yeah, going 3H by 87. And I think CK will have a big game because he literally always does on this map. I really look forward to seeing that long battle, though, with AimTech and Nicholson versus Defrag and Austin. I think that'll be a pretty fun game, the way that gets played over on long, and where they move after that point. Sniping from upper apartments as an axis, because sniping from loft kind of sucks. It's just not the same sniping into upper apps anymore from the axis loft. So we'll see if they can use that to their advantage. DB did a really good job of that, I think, last season, where he was, rather than sitting in the loft, he was kind of sniping in apartments, like on the axis side of apartments, to swing more often than not, which I think is a really good idea. So yeah, 3H, I'm saying 87 points. They're going to take this one, and that CK will have, like, it doesn't even matter who CK plays against. He will get at least 30 to 35 kills a half on this map, just by nades. You can't take nades away from him, so he will get a bunch of nade kills. So, on to the next one here. We've got NOA versus Saab. So, let me see what we got here on NOA. Anything new? Because there has been some roster changes. Doesn't look like it. I know they've had, like, iJab, Eclipse, Meep, Blue, Mouse, and was it Straight that played in week on Harrington? I forget. I'm not sure who the 6th will be after that. For NOA, I think this will be kind of a fun map for them to play around with and learn some more about DoD on. It's a lot more straightforward. Harrington was just a really shit first map for them to have to play. And then Thunder as a second map, while it's like, it's not the most complicated thing, it is kind of a pain in the ass to play. If NOA can get some scrims in on Lennon to see how that goes, I think it'd be good for them. I think they'll have some more fun on this map compared to the first two they've had to play. And then for Saab, you figure it'll be Scotty, Manor, Toki, JN, Nightmare, and Kingyo. They've also got Caleb and Raven on the bench, too. So, like, two very good backups that you can slot in wherever you need them. Again, it's still too early in NOA's run here to really be able to, like, confidently say, like, yeah, they're going to go out there and beat Saab, who's just played close games with really good teams the last few weeks. But it's just about any improvement they can make, like, there's got to be streams up around, demos out there to be able to watch. I don't know how, like, if they're that invested, they're going to go watch other teams playing on this map, but certainly the resources are out there to kind of learn how teams do things on certain maps, and Lennon in particular has ended up played in, like, a lot of finals and stuff since KTP has been a thing. But, you know, Saab, they're most likely going to win. And on a map like this, the score can get high like it could on Harrington. Hopefully, just what I'd like to see from NOA is just keep it as close as they can at this point and just make another stride forward. That's really all you can do as a brand new team in a game with all this fucking complicated history going on between all the other players and teams in it. You know, like you don't go out there and say like we're gonna fucking win this one now. But if they can make another stride forward this week, continue to keep matches closer and closer, learning the maps little by little, and sort of like what the basics of the game are until eventually you start to see them really come into their own the way that a team like CIS did. Again, I know CIS had like a DoD source background, so it's a little different, but you know, I think that the learning curve on this game is enough that like it's not going to happen overnight, but certainly in a matter of like a few months of playing consistently, you can get to the point in this game where you're able to compete with other people that have a bunch of experience. We've seen it time and time again. So I again, just continue to look forward to NOA's progression. But Saab, you got to figure they're going to win this, you know, say by like 500-600 on a map like Lennon. It could be more than that because it's Lennon and cap outs can come fast on that map. Like from initial to cap out, you can do that, I think, in like 23 seconds, something like that, because of how fast long caps and everything. So I don't know, but you know, Saab's going to win, obviously. So just want to see more progression out of NOA. That's all that matters for them. Then you got Romario and Insomniac. So Romario was my dark horse pick to win silver this season, and Insomniac looking like the favorites to do it all. The lineup that Insomniac played with at least last week: Sean and Corey and Hip on the rifles, Nine and Riv on the heavies, and Pib on the sniper rifle. Again, this is a map where the snipers don't get to have like as much impact, but certainly you can get clever and find ways to be as impactful as you are on other more straightforward maps for a sniper. And then for Romario, so I'm not positive what the lineup will be. I know that Burn isn't like supposed to be playing regularly. Like that railroad match was a rarity for this season, as far as I know. So it more likely is going to be Matt on a heavy with Vanaki, Rafinha on a rifle, along with Lobaton and LZL. I mean, you could see Barinia play, and then Man on the sniper, Zap. You know, like they have guys who are available most of the time, I would imagine, as backups. So, like, and whoever they throw in there, like if you're missing an LZL or Rafinha, you put Barinia in there, or Zaps, like these guys who have played in multiple finals and been really fucking good players. And this map, too, I know there's definitely a cast where Burn had some crazy moments going along with that Unter and Tommy, so maybe you see Burn get in this week. I don't know. You know, he is a train car specialist for the railroads, but also along with an Unter and a Tommy can be kind of the same thing. Man, so this has a little bit of a elite battle in the well. Again, you've got Sean and Hip or Corey, whoever ends up going that direction, against a Rafinha and an LZL. Like, that's a lot of firepower in that well. That's going to be a scary, scary battle. You got Vanaki and Matt going apartments against Riv and Nine, which I think will be the key matchup, again, because it's Lennon. You got to hold apartments. And then on long, the sniper and the light, whoever ends up being the third rifle, whether it's Lobaton or Burn or a Barinia or a Zaps or whoever. Zaps certainly has been able to do it before as well, versus like a Pibian and a Corey or a Pibian and a Hip or a Pibian and a Purdy or a Head Like a Hole. Sorry, I just hit my mic. Yeah. So I think across the board, it's going to be a fun set of matchups on this map. Man, this is a tough one to really call. You know, this is a map too where like things can get out of hand quick. It's a good map to have unexpected wins on. It's happened millions of times before. We used to lose to DGF on this map. Like there was multiple seasons of TPG and Cal and whatever other leagues there were where like we were undefeated but would then lose to DGF on this map, which was always hilarious when it happened because things can get really out of hand really quick, and then it's a fucking downhill slope. what I'm saying is it's very, very possible for an upset here. I feel like Insomnia is cruising right now. They've been looking so good. Just kind of like gearing up for when that potential that 3H matchup comes up. I kind of want to. Where is that? Where is that 3H by 3H Anzio? Ooh, okay, wow, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Okay, of all the maps for them to match up on, but yeah, so I hate picking against Romario ever. I could see certainly a scenario where they end up winning this game. Vanaki has had huge games on Lennon. Rafinha is so talented and explosive and capable of just going off and killing 4 guys at once. But on the other side of things, like you have that rock-solid backbone sniper in Pibian. While offensively on Lennon, the sniper may not be as much of a factor, defensively it does come into play a lot, where you need that sniper to be able to hit those shots on those tight angles when guys are coming around underpass or coming around connector, coming out upper apartments, and Pibian will have no problem hitting those shots. I got to take Insomniac here. I figure Sean will have a really big game and Riv will have a really big game. For Romario, if they can get those like game-breaking performances out of Vanaki, Rafinha, and one more guy, I think that's the way they end up getting the win. They're going to need one more person to step up and end up with like that 60-plus kill range. Matt would be, I think, the best case scenario if you got Vanaki and Matt in apartments, really dominating for a game, locking down Riv and 9. You know, this is a really good map for 9 too. And obviously Riv's just a ridiculous heavy, like ridiculous heavies love Lennon. But if Romario can find a way to win that apartments battle, you know, and then that's crunching in on both the double caps. When your team doesn't have apartments, you have to deal with that. And so you can't suddenly just be like, well, I'm going to just hold the double cap. Well, there's people coming from both my route and another route now. So, like, that's really the key for Romario to break through and win this one. But I think Insomnia will plug up those gaps really well. You know, they all have good communication, are experienced players, and are really good players. So whatever lineup Insomniac puts out there, I think they'll be able to pull it off. I think it'll be like, you know, 65 to 70 points in the end. Romario does like to get dramatic, though, man. I could easily see this being one of those games that comes down to one cap out going in either direction at the wrong time. So that one I really hope I get to cast. I have no idea if I will, but I'm going to try. And where's the last one? No-Go versus Washed Up. Another good match here. So where is No-Go? Blah, blah, blah. There they are. So mostly I assume their lineup will be a Dedro on the sniper he's been doing. J-Rod, Apple, and Matthew rifling, and then Spoon. Wait a second. So actually, I think Matthew heavied the 1 week, and then yeah, because then when Dedro left the sniper, he went on the heavy. So you would see Apple. Oh, but Apple STG. I don't know what the guns are going to be, but Dedro, J-Rod, Spoon, Apple, Matthew, and then either Sapphire, or it looks like Miller played last week. So you could see Miller back in the game again. That would be pretty cool. Up against for Washed Up. They've had a little bit of a rotating 6th as well, but you'll definitely see Paintball. You'll see Casino, Bromley, War Within, and then I assume it'll be like a Hopper, ProStar, Bullet, one of those 3. I haven't really seen Reptar play this season, so I'm just assuming that he's kind of like, you know, taking it easy, backing up, only going to play when they need him to. It would be nice to see him get to play again. I think this would be a good map for him to get on potentially. Washed Up has a lot of rifles, though, so I guess maybe, you know, unless PB wants to heavy for a week on Lennon, which he's certainly capable of, or let him car bar. This is a map that's not a bad idea to let a guy loose like that. Just tell him to go get all the kills he can fucking get, and he'll get a bunch of them. That's for damn sure. Speaking of which, like, that's going to be, I think, one of the key parts of this game is, like, J-Rod versus PB in well, assuming, again, that there's not some, like, crazy class switching here or, like, a car bar situation, but 2 really good, well, rifles going head-to-head, and 2 guys who play aggressively. It's going to be, you know, 2 Rams fucking slamming horns between those 2 guys, and whoever's on that day, I think that's where the win comes in. In apartments, Spoon, one of the best heavies there is. he'll have a good performance on Lennon. Whoever's heavying with him, whether it be a Dedro or a Matthew, or if it's like Apple one half and Matthew another half, or whatever they end up doing. The thing is, you've also seen Bullet have some really good games on Lennon too. Certainly, I've casted games where Bullet was like a major, major X factor in apartments, both at controlling apartments and then finding ways to sort of unexpectedly work flanks and get everybody in position and lock stuff down. Probably, will he be heavying with ProStar? Will he be heavying with Hopper? Will it be ProStar and Hopper heavying? War Within can also heavy. I think that might be his best class overall. Like, he was dropping bombs when he specifically in a Lennon match. The Lennon match I'm talking about, he had a shitload of kills. So I don't know what the lineup will be for Washed Up exactly class-wise. I do think it'll come down to just like those big guns and how they perform. Gonna be a job for Washed Up dealing with Spoon and Apartments, and then J-Rod versus PB on Well is gonna be really, really fun to watch. The ridiculous shots and streaks these guys will go on. Oh my god, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Washed Up. I'm not positive what their roster will be, but I think whoever their heavies are, they have a good idea of how to play Lennon Apartments. And J-Rod, I'm sure, is going to have a crazy game, but PB will too. I think they'll kind of cancel each other out either way. And then, the long side of things, Bromley I've seen do a lot of crazy shit on long. And then is it Casino? I know Casino usually was going well in the past, so I don't know if it will be him going long necessarily, or what they'll do route-wise. I got to take Washed Up. I think this one will be the closest match of the week, though. I feel like Washed Up is due for a win here. And, a map like Lennon, when you got guys who really, really understand the main part of the map, apartments, and how to work that part of the map to their advantage throughout the entirety of it in both double caps, having seen Bullet do it a million times. ProStar, very, very experienced heavy as well, if he's in there. Or if it's Hopper, whoever it may be. I got to take Washed Up here, but I think it's going to be 17, 18, 19 point win for them. It could go in either direction. It's basically a flip of the coin for me at this point. Or if one roster change is right or wrong for either team, that could be what makes the difference in the end. I think both J-Rod and PB will end up with around 70 kills total or more. And I think Spoon will have a really good game. And then, who's having with Spoon, I'm not sure. And what is the game plan to keep him locked down in apartments? Because when Spoon gets going, man, I think that's really what it comes down to with No-Go. If Spoon can dominate apartments, No-Go wins the game. Because I think, most of the other matchups, even if they go in Washed Up's direction, I think it stays close enough that Greg in apartments being able to just completely hold shit down would be the difference maker for both those double caps. So yeah, be very curious to see what ends up going on in that game. Another one I'd like to cast. The Silver Division is just so much fun. It always has been, but I think this season in particular, it is very wide open. There are the obvious few teams that are the favorites, but I still, honest to God, think that just about every team in Silver can beat one another any given week. For real. That's not just, some platitude about sports in general. No, I really do believe anybody could win Silver still at this point on the right map with the right lineup and the right week. So, always going to be very fun to cast those games. We'll see which ones I get to do, because I would love to do the 3H game, and I'd love to do all three of those other ones, and then I'd love to get to see NOA play. I haven't got to see them play yet, so I have no idea what they bring to the table. And I'd be interested to see them personally. Moving on to Gold. Okay, yeah, so you can see their standings at the end of Week 5 will be used to seed both of the next two ranked play weeks. That's what I was talking about earlier. So Thunder versus NSA, obviously rematch of the finals from last season, and technically the season before that, I believe we played Lennon. We're not playing this week, I know for sure, because we'll both be missing important players. So I believe as of right now, hypothetically, it's the following Sunday. It's like mostly confirmed that we're going to do that. It's just like one guy for each team waiting to confirm. Good luck, have fun to them. We always have fun matches on Lennon, but NSA is a really scary team. They have just added, where are they? Milo to the roster, which, as I said, they just got even scarier. What lineup do you see out of this team? I don't fucking know. There's a lot of scary versions of NSA where they don't necessarily need the 6 players you might think of at first. And then they don't even need to necessarily use players on like the class you think of them on. Like, you don't necessarily need Taylor to heavy on this team now because he can rifle too. And you could have a Milo Bud lineup in those weeks if like somebody's missing and you need to swap things around. Taylor can rifle. You know, no longer is it like, well, you know, we only really have 2 heavies, like we need Taylor on the heavy. No, you can give him a car and he will get just as many kills as he would with a bar. So yeah, that just makes NSA even scarier. Like, they were already scary enough. Adding Milo to the team, even if he doesn't get to play much, even if he really is just kind of like going to hang out on the bench and pop in when they really need him, that's just a very scary roster. And most of them can play multiple classes. PDX can definitely rifle and heavy. Taylor can definitely rifle and heavy. Debo can definitely rifle and heavy. P12 can definitely rifle and heavy. I've seen Leo heavy. I don't think it's been a while. Yeah, I think it's been a while, but I'm sure he could in a pinch. Bud, I've seen rifle and heavy. He's predominantly a heavy. And Milo is predominantly a heavy, but I've also seen him get plenty of kills with rifles as well. So, and Nick Patton was a heavy originally, if I recall correctly. So, really, all of them can play anything you want them to. I think they should pick classes out of a hat for one of these games, just to prove that they can do it. Because I really, truly believe that they could win just about any game with classes picked out of a hat. And I'm sure Nick would find that fun if he got to... No, with Sniper's luck, Nick would still pull Sniper out of the hat. Everybody else would get a different class but the Sniper. That's how I would see it going. But yeah, good luck, have fun to them. You know, it'll be fun to get to play them again. Obviously, we've played each other millions of times, and they're always super intense matches, so that'll be another fun one to get. And on Lennon, too, a match that we've played numerous times. It's always interesting to see what each team comes up with to try to give a new look for the next game. So, always fun playing those guys. Next up, over in Clinic. This is going to be a fun one, too, I think, on Lennon. So Clinic is another team where it's kind of like sometimes a little bit of a question mark who might play, because I know occasionally they got people that are busy, but mostly for this season it's been Tom and Vic heavying. They obviously also have Allen who can heavy on the bench, and Wanka who can heavy on the bench, and Elliman could certainly heavy if they needed him to. Suave, Insam, and Candyman on the rifles. Candyman, again, I maintain. You know, now if you've got a guy like Debo third rifling all the time now, he's certainly somebody who can make a case for being the best third rifle in the game. But right now, I still maintain Candyman as a pure third rifle. Like, that's his class. And that rifle team is really, really strong. And then Carpenter on the sniper, one of the few snipers that can use Lennon to an offensive advantage, which is always fun to see. I assume that'll be the 6. And then for over... So, this team has been more of a question mark lineup-wise. You know, Kum, Mata, Saka, Caffrey, Till. After that, it's been a little bit of a roll of the dice. I don't know if maybe there will be weeks that they're missing one of those first 5, too. But 50 just filled in last week. Looked insane with a Stas. Anna played on Rail Yard. They haven't played Harrington yet. I keep thinking of their Harrington match. It's against us. And then now they have Riley Staffer on the team, too. Moore was a good rifle if they ever need him to play. Like, you never know who their 6 is going to be, but whoever it is, they'll be just fine. So, for this game, again, it comes down to the heavies and apartments. You got Vic and Tom up against Caffrey and Till. Caffrey. It's what it always comes down to, man. Caffrey, this is his favorite map. And I think that is where the difference comes in. It's hard to pick against Clinic on this map, though, because I've seen them do some crazy shit on Lennon. The biggest thing will be like, let me put it this way. If they can deal with apartments, that's when Clinic's going to win this game. You know, over also, like, their rifles do like this map, and they can be really mobile on it, too. I recall a lot of times playing over where it was just like Saka and Kum were fucking everywhere. You'd totally lose track of them. They kill both the well guys and an apartment guy, and you'd think they push to your 1, but then they flank long, and suddenly you're getting capped on. Like, this is a strong map for over all around. I got to take them to win here. I just think, like, they have more win conditions overall. But I think, again, for Clinic, like, they have such a strong set of rifles, rifle and sniper, and then the way their heavies looked on Thunder, they played really, really well, too. So, like, there is a world where Clinic, it comes out and takes this match and cruises to a win. I just think there's a lot to overcome in this case between Caffrey and Till in Apartments. That's a tough matchup. And then Sokka and Kum on Well, that's a tough matchup. And then Mata and 50 or Riley or Ana on Long, like these are all tough matchups. I just think that overall, like I think Caffrey will have a bunch of kills no matter what, because he always gets a lot of kills on this map. He finds a way. Sometimes he barely even has to go Apartments on Axis side. Like, he's flooding through Well, and Over is finding ways to really make Well the focal point of where they're accruing resources. Like, hey, we're going to send one of the heavies here along with our rifles. That way, the rifles die. Maybe the other team just hops on Well thinking they're good, and then there's a heavy there to immediately break it, and not from, like, the obvious place of inside a blue room. Obviously, this is in the past that I've seen this happen. They could have a different idea of how to play it now. Do I think that's necessary? No, because they're a really good Lennon team. We've seen it time and time again. They beat T3 on Lennon in Season 1. I know they had no name at that point, so it's a different roster, but like it wasn't just one guy winning that match playing long. They had good players performing all over the place, and they still have those guys on this team. And if they're all clicking and, come that day looking sharp with their aim and everything, they're a tough team to beat on Lennon for absolutely anybody. I got to take them by, like, I'm going to say 69. But I think that heavy battle is going to be a fun one to watch again. I've seen Vic do some really crazy shit on Lennon. This is a map that he excels at, too. And Tom looked really good with the heavy last week. The guy does not like heavying, because who does? But he continues to perform, and that's why Tom keeps having a heavy, Like, I feel bad, because I know Tom would rather be sniping, and Carpenter would rather be playing something else, but Tom has been good with the heavy, man. They've asked him to do it across multiple seasons now, and he keeps doing it and keeps performing, which is rough, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes this week, but I got to take over, say, about, like, 2 caps, just to round it up or whatever. But I think that'll be another interesting game to see how it plays out, like, tactically across the board, because Clinic are a good team at mid-game adjustments. You don't see them just keep pounding home the same strategies from everybody, even when they're losing. Like, they find ways to work around whatever problems they're running into in the middle of the game, and usually find a way to make it work for them. So yeah, that'll be a fun game to watch too, but I just think, man, Caffrey, you just see him get so many kills on Lennon. That can be tough to overcome by itself, how much Caffrey is in love with this map. And then the last one, Icy Hot versus Chill Pill. Icy Hot are tough to play on this map, man. But Chill Pill have some really good Lennon players as well. So you figure Chi and Booten heavying in Apartments, Gall and Timo on Well, and then a Baron or a DB on Long with Arachnid, or if Arachnid's not playing, then it'll be Baron and DB, because DB will be sniping. We just talked about DB having fun ways of sniping Axis side of this map, so will that be relevant this week? I don't know. I assume Arachnid will be back now. But he could just, if DB plays, he can always scavenge those sniper rifles and do the same thing. And then obviously for Icy Hot, they have a little bit of a 7-man rotation here, but like whichever one of those lineups comes out, they're just the same either way. Kanga, Sick, Bees, Vertex, Compton, Knockout doesn't really play, Hildebrand, and Justin. It's another really scary team. NSA and Icy Hot are very scary teams when you just look at their rosters. Not even just their lineup, their 6, but like beyond their 6, they're fucking scary. So you got Bees and Compton most likely on the heavies, but sometimes Kanga does heavy too. And sometimes Justin heavies as well. I'm not sure which combo that'll be. I assume Bees will be heavying for sure. And then either Tony, Justin, or Kanga on the other one. I'm guessing it'll be Sick with Vertex Well. Vertex always puts up really, really good, especially Axis sides on Lennon, but he's a ridiculous Garand as well, so you can usually count on him to get 80 kills overall. And the play styles really mesh well too between him and Sick. Like Sick is a turret where he will, like, if you lose the team around Sick, Sick will be able to hold on to a spot and hit those shots very reliably, which is something you need. You need that in all your duos, your rifle duo and your heavy duo. You need a guy who you know can hold shit down when you lose a bunch of players, because you will over the course of 40 minutes of DOD. On the chill pill side of things, I mean, so that heavy team, Chi is really good at this map, and he plays it in a unique way, and Booten, especially on his allied side, is going to be very deadly in apartments. I think that's a broken record here, but the apartment battle is so key. Andrew and Timo are going to have to find a way to deal with Casey and Sick on well. Timo's got the nades. I think that'll be another big X factor here. You know, being able to get rid of Vertex from wherever he ends up with those nades whenever possible. If Andrew comes out and has like one of those blow-up games he has where he's just dropping like 97 kills, you know, that's a path to victory where if they can just like overwhelm via frag. And then like the sniper matchup at long, you know, Arachnid or DB versus Hildy, and then like with either a Kanga or a Compton or a Justin, and on the other side either a Baron or a DB. You know, I'd say Icy Hot by like 107. The last time that we played Icy Hot on this map, I mean, we won, but like Vertex, I think, had 46 kills with a car. Bees always gets a bunch of kills in apartments. Like those two guys, the team really, really moves off of them. They always are making space for their teammates, pushing forward, hitting ridiculous shots, getting 3, 4, 5 kill fast streaks, and that's where things open up for them. Chill Pill are all smart players, and they could find a way tactically to try to contain those guys, hypothetically. But Icy Hot is just such a stacked team. You know, it's hard to pick against them under any circumstances, ever. I don't think I have picked against them, to be fair. I mean, they did lose one of those games, but, like, I still didn't pick against them. And, yeah, I just, you know, I think Icy Hot and NSA are on a collision course for the finals, to be fair. Like, I think that those are the teams this season that will be battling for the belt, which I think is good for DOD, just overall. So, yeah, I'm taking Icy Hot here, but I think Chill Pill are all guys that are very able to go on these movie clip epic runs. So, even if they lose, like, it'll be a fun game to watch. I've seen Booten go off on a couple streaks and cast on this map. Same with Colin, Gall, and DB. Like, all of them I've seen go off on 5+ kill streaks on Lennon in particular. Overall, just Icy Hot is such a strong team. They have a very good strategic understanding of what is good for their team to be able to find a way to win. And you add that to their individual raw skill that they all have. It's a tough matchup week in and week out, any map for any team. And, yeah, I mean, I just look forward to hypothetically seeing that finals match, too, because, like, anyone can win on any one map, but I think both those teams have very interesting map pools that might match up with each other to potentially have, like, a best-of-3 going 3 games and really being a tight one. I mean, obviously, it's halfway through the season right now I'm talking about this, but I do think, like, those two teams, from my standpoint, in gold, are just so good right now. Like, who's going to beat them? We're not going to beat them, I can tell you that. And NSA adding Milo now, man, that is very scary. Very, very scary. So, that does it for the predictions, I believe. Yes, it does. What's the next week? Armory after that. And then it goes to the seeded matchup, so interesting. Who would 3 play there? 6? Okay. And then 5? Okay. Okay. Well, anyways, yeah, so that does it. Hopefully I'll get to cast more games this week than I did last week. It just, we had to play at 9:30 on Sunday night, which we don't often do. So, yeah, I couldn't do any of the nighttime games on Sunday. There was quite a few games in Silver I'd like to do. I mean, really, I always like to fucking cast every game humanly possible, but it's not possible because everybody plays at the same time a lot of the time. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, can't wait to see some of these games going on this week. Lennon Test is always fun. It looks very pretty now as well. And good luck to everybody. Go out and get some movie clips. Somebody should make a Lennon Frag of the Week. It's a fun map to filter, and usually the clips on Lennon are better than like any other Frag of the Week that you see. Railroad 2 can have pretty good ones. Harrington usually doesn't anymore because it's such a nade fest. But yeah, I think Lennon is like the Frag of the Week map. So someone should volunteer to do that shit, and everybody go get some fucking crazy clips for it. KTP, everybody, thank you for watching. Love you guys. We'll be back with casting. Don't forget to watch Alapex as well. He's been doing a lot of casting. I don't know if Alan's going to keep doing it. Bullet's been doing some whenever he can. You got lots of people stepping up to try to get like every single game casted whenever possible, which is nice to see. And yeah, see you guys Sunday, unless there's a game before then, but I don't think so. Mwah! Peace out.